You are hearing the sound of frying eggs, and I don't know about you, but there's a number of things that get me steamed, and I just thought that perhaps they get you steamed as well, or perhaps my saying them gets you steamed even more, or maybe steamed at me, but it's helpful, I think, to have this segment every once in a while called What Fries My Eggs? And last week, something fried my eggs to the nth degree, to the point of burning them. And you know that I have been a fan and supporter of the Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center in Montclair, New Jersey, ever since it started. Dave Kaplan, who is a good friend, who is the director of the museum, has been a guest on this show. He's been a guest on the sports show. And it's just, and we've always said that if you have maybe not the greatest budget for a vacation, but you want to go and do something incredibly different and incredibly beyond what your mind can imagine if you're a sports fan or even if you're not, to tour this museum. Not only was it the most magnificent collection of baseball memorabilia you're ever going to see, it has so many different things with education, because the Berra mission is education. Well, last week, some idiot, and I mean that, or some idiots went in and stole from the museum collection 10 of Yogi's World Series rings, which I believe markets probably all of his rings, and several of the bats and a couple of uniforms and the glove that he used to catch Don Larson in the 1956 perfect game. Now, I can't imagine, I mean, there are some incredibly dumb people out there, as we all know, but there is really nothing you can do. You can't market these things. Nobody's going to buy them. So what will happen? Do they want to sell it? Do they want to melt the gold? I mean, it's terrible. And not only that, but you're stealing from Yogi Berra. And Yogi Berra, you know, really is someone who gave his life to helping people. And he lost his wife Carmen this year. And stealing from Yogi, as Phil Mushnick said, is really like stealing from us all. So I can only tell you, we're going to roll this tape of the actual break-in for a few seconds, and then I just have a couple of closing thoughts on that. But I'm heartbroken, and we'll show you this, and we'll give you some concluding thoughts on it.
Incredible. Tonight, police in New Jersey investigating a break-in at Yogi Berra's museum at Montclair State University.
We are told that the thieves got away with some priceless mementos belonging to the Yankee great. Fox 5's Stan Bowens is at the museum right now with details. Stan.
Derry and Steve, Yogi Berra isn't just a part of Yankees history, he's a part of baseball history, a main character of the American sports story, and many mementos from his Hall of Fame career are on display here at his museum at Montclair State University. Items thought to be taken are described as priceless.
For someone to just break in and steal that stuff, it just kind of makes you think, like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, some people are just cold-hearted.
The Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center, a tribute to baseball greatness and the legacy of the game, is now a crime scene. Police here at Montclair State University saying thieves broke in and stole various memorabilia.
I'm just shocked that it happened here.
Students telling us they assumed the museum was one of the most secure buildings on campus. Investigators haven't said specifically what was taken. We know many items from Berra's legendary career that included 13 World Series championships and 18 All-Star appearances were all displayed inside.
He has his World Series rings, a couple of his MVPs in there, a lot of Yankees memorabilia is in there.
This stadium is pretty much what brings people to Montclair. And it really just makes you cringe a little bit, because especially for the students, they put in a lot of time and effort to make this place look good.
The museum opened in 1998. In a statement, the museum's director said, quote, "We are saddened to learn of a break-in at the Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center. We are cooperating fully with the Montclair State University Police Department and other county, state, and federal agencies that are assisting with this investigation." And police here at Montclair State University confirmed the burglary did take place sometime overnight, likely very early Wednesday morning. The sheriff here at Essex County is offering a $5,000 reward to anyone who has information about this case.
And that was courtesy of Fox New York. Now, ever since this has happened, a number of things have been rolling around in my mind, and one thing which has rolled so big in my mind to the point where, you know, my poor little mind can't hold it, is what about the New York Yankees? The New York Yankees baseball team. Incredible amounts of money spent for free agents, as Mark knows, not Mark, my devout Yankee fan, my producer, not all these free agents actually do what they're supposed to do. And this is the team of Ruth and Gehrig and DiMaggio and Mantle and Munson and Mercer and Tino Martinez and Mariano Rivera going on through the years. You know the legacy. Yogi Berra, Yankees, Mr. Berra is your living legacy. He is your last link to the past. There is no Yankees if not for Yogi Berra. And isn't it about time that you decided to put some money aside for the reward and capture of the people that did this theft? The fact that you've been very silent really, really, really fries my eggs, and each of you really should give this some thought. Not only that, but you Yankee fans, you ought to think about calling up the Yankees and canceling your season ticket subscription and not going to games and just saying until you do something about that, because that is our heritage. And believe me, if you don't believe it is, well, you know, we can talk about that, but you know, you move the stadium from one place to another. That's still a sore spot with me. But it's about time that the Yankees did something. So there was a game years ago, if you're my age, called Challenge the Yankees. It was a board game. It was played with dice, and we played it with cards. And it was the Yankee team versus other American League players. So this is my challenge to the Yankees. It's about time you did something and you got involved with this, because it's really a shame, and it is your heritage and your legacy. With that, we move to part two of what fries my eggs, and what's really frying my eggs is the Connecticut governor's race. Now, we will have here next week Joe Visconti, the third, shall we say, the third-party independent candidate, running against the established candidates, Daniel Malloy and Tom Foley. And I'm waiting to see something new here. I'm waiting to see something different. I haven't, but with that, I'm going to give you just a couple of sample ads. I'm sure the candidates don't mind. They're playing them all over. First, we're going to show a minute here of Tom Foley in a shopping mall talking about how Connecticut residents are getting squeezed. Mark, let's roll the tape.
All right.
Terrible. I work hard. Been a waitress 12 years. Never on government assistance, but it's hard.
So some people are telling me that they're suffering what's called the big squeeze. That's where incomes are flat or going down, but the cost of living keeps going up.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I got to count my pennies as I put stuff in my shopping cart. It's hard.
So I've been talking to people about what I call the big squeeze, which is their incomes aren't increasing, but the cost of living's going up, so they're getting squeezed.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you hearing about people having that problem?
Yeah.
Are you suffering from what some people call the big squeeze, meaning that incomes aren't going up, but costs are going up?
Absolutely.
So the taxes go up, and electricity bills are going up, the cost of buying things in the mall here are going up, and yet people's incomes are staying the same, or in some cases are declining.
Absolutely.
And the cost of living, since Governor Malloy was elected, has gone up 9%. So a lot of people are feeling that they can't afford to live in Connecticut anymore.
Yeah, that's probably one of the main reasons why people are leaving, you know.
Who do you think has the biggest impact on the economy? Is there one person around who you think can make the most difference in Connecticut about what goes on in the
president?
The president, okay.
Maybe. Or yourself?
What about the governor? Don't you think the governor's...
Oh, maybe the governor?
That's really the governor's number one job, is to keep the economy up, keep people employed.
You're doing a good job.
The economy's only grown 1%.
From the right, Tom Foley. Now we'll move to the left, and Dan Malloy.
Listen to Tom Foley's ad.
Tom Foley saved a struggling textile company. When he sold the company, he protected pensions and medical benefits.
Tom Foley is lying.
When Tom Foley purchased the plant,
He started laying people off.
People who had been there 40 years.
I lost my job and my health care.
Grown men were crying. Everybody was crying.
It was all about money. He had plans to shut this place down to begin with.
Tom Foley, you cannot believe in him, and you cannot trust him.
I'm Dan Malloy, and I approve this message.
Those are our two main candidates, and I don't know if you're like me, but guess what, folks? I think I'm watching a rerun. Let's look at the condition of the state as it exists. The roads are horrible. 52% of those polled want to leave. Our transportation system, our public transportation system, is beyond disrepair. We have the highest gasoline taxes in the nation. It is an incredibly difficult place to do business. there is just something that just needs to happen here, and I'm not really happy about what I'm seeing, and this really fries my eggs. So is Three Dog Night says Wire, maybe so, maybe no. We're going to come back with a little bit of fun after this, but guys, you got to do something better than what you're doing. See you in a moment on Connecticut Morning.